Here is an update to my Demon Bomber build to transition you from Nightmare into Hell difficulty. By this point, you become familiar with how the skills feel and the general rotations. You've maybe gotten yourself to Act 5 Nightmare or somewhere similar, and you want to be sure you and your gear and skills are ready for the Ancients and Baal, and ready to enter and progress through Hell. I'm going to recap and go over my personal experience so it can hopefully help you. Let's dive in and get you prepared, friends. Real quick, let's touch up on normal difficulty struggles. There is a little bit of comments I'm seeing about the damage, and I really haven't experienced it. I just want to call out, you want to make sure you always have your 2 demons, plus the skills are really going to help. If you're going through at the regular levels as expected in the area, it should be fine. If you're going in under leveled, this is going to be a pretty big hindrance to you. So make sure you have double demons. As soon as you're level 12, I switched to those tainted for fireballs. It just kind of helps supplement. You're going to be losing your demons, so just be mindful that you're just going to recast them and blow them up. As soon as you get engorged, that kind of changes at level 24. But yeah, as soon as you lock Blood Boil, you should be 2-shotting packs, and this will pretty quickly start dropping down to 1-shotting basic mobs, and you'll be on your way. Now, after completing normal, my gear was incredibly basic. Not much really changed from the initial guide. The one huge recommendation, though, is to make the new rune word Authority as soon as you can. Like I said, the plus skills really help. I mean, all over the place, not just the damage for Blood Boil, but the skills and the mastery actually help the damage because you can feel better about you can get your bind earlier. I completed normal and did most of Nightmare with the same really trash gear. I used stealth all the way up to Authority, which I didn't really make Authority until right before the Ancients and Nightmare. I used the same dagger from Act 2 normal to Act 5 Nightmare, which is when I finally made a Spirit. So very, very budget friendly. I was at the 30 faster cast rate breakpoint the entire time, just shy of 48, so just the stealth and a ring. It does feel much more smooth at 48. I'd aim for that if you can. It kind of depends. If you roll a Spirit Sword and it rolls with a decent roll, it's much easier to get to. So when we get into Hell, we're going to be aiming for the 75 faster cast rate breakpoint. But if you're at 48, you are going to be fine. That's where I'm at currently, and it feels great. 75 is the aim. 125 is the ultra endgame. What's really cool is as soon as you do enter Hell and get to the pits, I mean, you're going to be able to carry yourself. I just have done it myself and cleared Act 1 in Hell, and you can farm the pits immediately. It's really nice. Or even just carry yourself on through the campaign. Just the point is, aim for that faster cast rate breakpoint if you can. It is not a deal breaker, though. Finding a pair of Mage Fist or Trang gloves will be a total joy for this build. Now, let's talk about the Nightmare progression and skill updates. So another note at the mid to late point of Nightmare is to think about using goats if you happen to bind a demon with Might or Fanaticism on top of the Cursed modifier. Then you could focus on engorging in packs to keep that demon alive. And for bosses, you could just let them wail away and beat them down with melee attacks instead of using Blood Boil. It's actually very smooth. The amp damage and the aura works really well. Goats are pretty surprising, so thank you to the community here. You guys have been pointing some stuff out. I really appreciate it. I love seeing everyone come together for these ideas. You may have just unlocked Bind Demon. I personally kind of just like to make sure I unlock the skills that I'm going to possibly use early or I will be using later, just to get it out of the way and so I don't forget and run into a place where I don't have a skill point when I need it. But you may have unlocked Bind Demon. It's not necessarily something that you need to worry about right away, but you do want to get it. You're aiming to get those soft points up to 20 to get all of the 4 different effects. Every 5 soft points, you get a new modifier that adds on to the bound demon. And at level 20, he can get a random aura. Super helpful. But the primary goal is to get Cursed. That amp damage is clutch. It's just, at this early stage, though, you're mostly going to be probably resummoning, so that's why I didn't focus on binding that early. Especially when you get to bosses, you're probably just going to cycle straight through, but either way. Getting the skill out of the way to make sure I don't forget is probably just one of those things that I have in my head from old school Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, before tokens happened. So anyways, you can call me a geezer, that's fine. Let's go ahead and talk about the Nightmare gear check. So you're thinking, and why you probably even clicked on this video, is what gear should I be looking for, or what should I be wearing when I enter Hell? So we'll go ahead and go over that. This is exactly what I completed Nightmare Bale with and walked into Hell and completed Act 1 no problem. I'm going to have all of these items up on the screen so you can just take a look. Pretty basic. I'm still using the dagger from normal with Blade Warp to save some skills. It's up to you if you want to invest those 3 points now or not. You could technically skip altogether if you don't plan on using a CTA. Because eventually we want to get Enigma, and you won't need to use Blade Warp at all. You could also farm Countess for some runes early in Nightmare, particularly for 2 soul runes, the Hell, and Shale or 2 if you want. I got bored after about 5 runs, and I just kind of kept going, so I didn't make those key rune words until way later in Nightmare. Otherwise, I would have had the Spirit and Insight much earlier. Entirely up to you. I didn't need them yet, but I will say both of those upgrades, Spirit and Insight, are individually huge, and you feel the impact. And if you have both, the change in how your character feels and quality of life is massive. So if you're cruising, you might want to just stop here until you could make one of those rune words. There's also an element of the base, which I used a 2-handed sword. First thing I found, and it's a wider range of options for the Warlock, so that's really helpful. Anyways, these are my items. I had made sure to use kind of just these entry items before killing Bale and Nightmare, like I said. Same set that got me easily through Act 1 in Hell solo. So yeah, the head, lore. The armor, like I said, the authority, those +2 skills actually help a lot more than I was giving it credit for. Obviously the damage and AoE, but all the other kind of passive effects are just really great. Weapon, you want to make that Spirit as soon as you can. Just a faster cast rate reading to cover the gaps. If you happen to want to still use stealth instead of authority, you might be able to more easily actually hit 75 faster cast rate early. Just pay attention to those, 48 or 75. And then from here, it's just, the boots. I had a really nice drop for these resistance boots. I got lucky. That was crazy. I've never really found anything that was like that at an early level, but yeah, kind of just filling in for resistances. Everything else is just like that. Just fill in the gaps that you need, mostly resistances. And also remember, you can craft a caster belt. Don't be crazy like me and not craft it. You can do that, and it will at least get you 5% faster cast rate, up to 10. Now the Mercenary, the key piece for him is an Insight. I don't care what polearm. I always make it in the first base that I could find that he can wear, that the rune word applies to. This is what I used at this point. The damage is just, it doesn't really matter. It's literally just for the mana and quality of life. You could worry about the damage later. Those are all very easy runes to find to make later. And for the Mercenary, the rest is the same. Just fill in as much resistance as you can. You could put on a Bulwark for the damage reduce if you get those runes in a base or a cure. Just however you are lucky with RNG. Life Leech would be really helpful. Okay, well, let's talk about some skills. If you haven't noticed by now, Death Mark is an excellent strategic tool that can be used for offense and defense. Offense, because you could stomp your enemies. Defense, because it keeps you back and only teleports your demons while keeping you safe. So let's elaborate. Your cursed demon is going to be planted right on top of where you want the amp to go when you use Death Mark. Also applying Conviction if you have it on him. Your other summons will immediately attack, and if you use Goats, the amp, the Crushing Blow, yeah. You could also wait for key moments for these things to happen, like the amp and the conviction curse to apply, before popping the blood boil for efficiency if you want. But here's a cool part. Defensively, you may have a hard time sometimes keeping your mercenary alive, even when using prayer and insight, etc. With Deathmark, you can place your packs of demons between danger and your mercenary and you, at least in enough time to either attack the danger and dispatch of it, or regroup by using Blade Warp. So to summarize, you can selectively move your demons around while letting your mercenary run or walk wherever he wants, and also move everyone around while using Blade Warp. Move, separate, recollect, regroup, explode. Pretty awesome. Anyways, from here on out, we're making sure we have 20 soft points in Bind Demon, 20 soft points to Demonic Mastery for 3 demons, and we're finishing our Blood Boil synergies by maxing them. Keep an eye out for the usuals through Hell. Shaco, the runes, bases, but be sure to pick up gray daggers and books like the Codex and Grimoire, etc. Since these can be amazing endgame rune words. 2 socket books and 3 socket daggers. You want plus to skills that we use, but be mindful of other Warlock builds as well, because these can create some really great potential endgame items, especially for the Void rune word, which I'm extremely excited for. More on that in upcoming content later. Anyways, that's it for the build update so far. As we're transitioning to Hell, I'm hoping to start streaming on a normal schedule so we can share ideas live. If you are liking this kind of content, smash a like and consider subscribing, as I'm going to be pumping out some more content soon. Until then, I hope you're having a blast with the new update, and good luck with all the loot. See you next time.